Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Mahe Ramadh'an Reflections Part 2. A selected translation of Ayatollah Misbah Yazdi's commentary on Dua al-Iftitah. Paying attention to the reality of dua. Before reciting a dua, it is appropriate for us to think about who we are going to communicate with, and what dua means. What a precious station it is that a person is successful in speaking to and communicating with God Himself. It is necessary to contemplate on the contents of the supplications and at least reflect upon the translation before reciting a dua, so that we are generally aware of the contents of what we are reciting and not just offering the pronunciation of a handful of Arabic words without understanding what we are saying and reciting. There are lofty and exalted contents contained within the supplications that have been narrated from the Ahlul Bayt, peace be upon them. And even if the spirit of prayers and supplication was not relevant, it is worth studying these contents. Therefore, it is appropriate for those who are not familiar with Arabic to read the translation before reciting a dua, especially the supplications that have been mentioned for this month, and be aware of their contents. Reflecting upon the contents of prayers before reciting them causes us to benefit from them better. The benefit that people derive from prayers is at such different levels for different people that it is not perceivable for us. A dua that is merely a recitation of the words and at the most the proper pronunciation of its letters is observed is vastly different from one in which the contents are also paid attention to, and a person's state while reciting is also favorable, such that it is indescribable. Thus, the benefit one derives from such a supplication depends on the state of a person and the attention of his heart towards God and His attributes, especially the attributes that are indicated in the supplication. The month of Ramadan and Iftitah. One of the very suitable and rich supplications that have been recommended to be recited on the nights of this month is Dua al-Iftitah. In Zad al-Ma'ad, Allama Majlisi writes, based on reliable documentation, it has been narrated from Imam Zaman, peace be upon him, that he wrote to his Shias to recite this prayer, Dua al-Iftitah, every night in the month of Ramadan, as the angels hear the supplications of this month and seek forgiveness for the reciter. This dua contains lofty contents, and the material is such that it teaches the supplicator about what etiquettes must be observed and what issues to be aware of while supplicating. The starting point, glorification of God. This prayer starts with divine glorification and praise. Allahumma inni aftatihu thana'a bihamdik. O Allah, I begin the glorification of You with praising You. There are many obstacles in this noisy world that block the path of attention to God. Even though the only path to human happiness is servitude to God and His worship, and all other things are considered as preliminaries to this reality. However, it is very unfortunate that most people are ignorant of this reality. They pay attention to everything except God and that which provides true human perfection and happiness. With the arrival of the month of Ramadan, the barriers preventing attention to God are reduced, and the necessary groundwork for prayers and worship is prepared. In this spring of prayers and worship, the ones who long for God whisper prayers in remembrance of their Lord and call on Him and seek Him with all their existence. Now in this spring, where God has prepared the necessary grounds for worship and prayer for us, how do we start the dua? The loftiest speech that one can begin a supplication with is the glorification of God and His praise. O God, from whom everything originates, whatever anyone has, You have bestowed upon him. Whatever perfection anyone has attained has been through Your will. The success and grace to supplicate must also be bestowed by You. O God, take our hand and bless us with success in supplicating. There are so many servants who are ignorant of your remembrance all over the world. O Lord, if you had not guided us, we would also have been among the ignorant. Whatever exists does so in light of your grace. Thus, supplication must first begin with the praise and glorification of God, who has bestowed us with the grace of attention to Him.